And before we get into Intangible specifically, are there any themes, if you look across the four startups that you've co-founded, about order in terms of, is it team first, is it idea first, is it market first, like how do you end up anchoring in a particular area with a particular group of people?
It's a good question. I've always looked for three things. I think it's refined over time. One, I look for a market where there's energy. I find that, startups is not a short game. It's not going to happen over 2 years. You're going to build it over many years. And so it just helps to have a market that's growing. If you are shipping on the internet, if you're shipping on the app store during the app economy or social or SaaS, these things lifted a lot of boats. And even if the first startup didn't work out, you learn things you could take to the next startup. So I think that market's always one. That's just not me, like Mark Andreessen said it, other people have said it. I think AI will be another one of these waves that lifts all boats. But I'd say if at a personal level, once you've like, okay, that's the space I like that market. I think the three most important things for me is, am I in business with people I like? Is it a co-founder I like? Are we able to pick the right people for our team? That's one. Am I in business with investors I like, and are they aligned? And different investors, I didn't realize this until later in my career, have different ways of doing business. And if you don't understand that, then they're stuck on your cap table, and they cover a lot of your headspace because they are your boss, unless you own your own company. And I think the last, maybe the most important thing is you got to like your customers. Because I've got to be honest, I've been in spaces where I like my product, I like my co-founders, I like my investors, I liked everything. But like, I don't know that I had a particular passion for locks. Like, I never grew up, nothing I've told you about my background would go, oh man, like smart locks. That's the thing you were always going to be excited about. If your dad was a locksmith, like your family's been in the lock business, that's just not me. And so sometimes I think that one piece that's missing over time starts to wear on people over time. And what I've realized about myself is I want these three things to align in addition to having a good market in order for it to be the right thing for me.
And how do you think about the assessment process in each of those areas? And in other words, is it an arranged marriage? Is it people you've known a long time? How long should you be steep in these areas before making the decision that I'm ready to anchor in any of those vectors?
This is probably not the best answer, but for me, it's been two things. I've spent a lot of time with, like, what's my value set? Truly, what is my way of working? What am I good at? What do I suck at? Like, what are the things that, I'm just not the best at? And I start to break down. And so just being clear about who you are actually is the biggest time suck. The rest of it has just been fortuitous for me.